All right, everyone, just getting booted up here. Making sure everything I want shown is shown and everything I don't want shown is not shown while people pop in here. How's everyone doing? Can everyone hear me okay and all that? And then I gotta go OBS, and then I have to go to this one. Hello. Okay, that seems to work. Let's put me more out of the way down here. Just got back from the dog park with the dogs, so things are in a slight bit of disarray. I'll get it all fixed up here for you. And do one of them. This. There. Move this over. Oh, we had a little issue there. 1 second. Everything should be all right. Sorry, internet just dropped for a quick moment there. And that looks back. We'll go back over here. Back now. Awesome. Sorry, but I don't know what was going on there. Let me pause my own stream. Maybe it got overwhelming. May just take a second to boot everything back up. I don't know what happened. My Wi-Fi dropped for a quick second. So how's everyone doing anyway? How is that's still working. And then we'll go file cloud squeeze, because this is the main scan I think we're going to be using today. There we go. Everything looks good. Oh, it's good. It's been an interesting market. We're getting ready for a TrendSpider Trade Ideas kind of combined stream today, which I think will be cool. If anyone's interested in that, let me know and I can get you the link. I don't know if I have it right now. We'll do this. Yeah, let's get you the link for that. That's going to be cool. That's on 7 Eastern today. We're doing a webinar. We've done it once before where we do trade ideas and TrendSpider together. Yeah, there it is. And how they work together and things that you can use for both and all of that. So fuzzy or pixelated. Interesting. Shouldn't be. Have you yeah, it says I'm outputting at a bit rate that's way quicker than it should be. Have you gone down to the little gear icon on the bottom? Let me show you. I think I can show you guys the screen, right? If I bring this up. Oh, it's because that's a yeah, there's a little gear icon on the bottom. And you should be good to go. So again, if you guys are new here, essentially what we do each and every week is we're just going to go through the market. We're going to talk about what's going on in the market right now, in my opinion, and all of that. And then we're going to go through the short videos, the little picks that I put out this week, and we're going to figure out what's working, what worked and what didn't, and more importantly, kind of how I traded them to help you guys out with your trading plan. From there, we're going to just scan through as we go through what's going on this time and what's going to happen this week, things like that. And then that'll be about it. So again, wrap up last week, do the scanning for this week, and then kind of go from there. Man, that camera looks some washed out, eh? fix that for the webinar. Need to get better lighting or something. Hey guys. Yeah, that coach is going soon. I moved, so you guys are looking in a different way in the office than you normally did, because I could point over there, but basically I gave Jess a place to sit to. We both opened accounts for the new Trade Ideas product. If you're not playing with it, the Strength Alerts, something that I have built. Very proud of. So far, so good. Everything working with it. First 2 weeks were great. I just finished all of the running the algorithm and writing up the newsletter and everything for next week. So I'm going to be excited when you guys see those. There's some good symbols going on, but I can't really go over too much, right? We are going to tease one or two of them in the TrendSpider webinar. Again, if you guys can attend, that'd be cool. So quickly, let's take a look at this week. So first of all, I have Bitcoin up here now. I'm going to start doing more cryptocurrency things. I've traded them for a long time, and I do have some vested interest in different crypto-related companies and interests and that type of thing, but I really haven't done a lot of analysis on them publicly. But I'm going to start doing that because a lot of people asked me to, and we're getting interested in me doing that kind of thing. So we're going to spend some time going through and just doing some different crypto and crypto-related things. I am not a diehard that crypto is going to change the world, and it may. Like, I'm not against that concept, but I'm more of it's a great trading vehicle, mainly because the market never closes. So I'm short, full disclosure, I'm short Bitcoin now from about 63,000, 62 to 63,000. But I can just set out the orders and I can just let it go and not have to worry about it. Nothing's going to halt, no market is going to close. Nothing like this. It's just going to keep going. So I'll talk with them a little bit. Right, the main reason I was short Bitcoin was this, right? So we had RSI moving lower as Bitcoin was moving higher. This is, generally speaking, a sign of waning momentum. The other big thing that I was looking at was the coin IPO this week. So the theory being, there's an old saying in trading that seems to hold pretty true: buy the rumor, sell the news. And that's, more or less what I'm seeing in crypto right now is, right, buy the rumor, sell the news. So I just thought, hey, I can take a short under this candle's low right here and put my stop over the high. And I'm risking a super, super tiny amount to make a large amount, right? So, my risk on this was right here, where my reward was, way down here. So we're talking 7, 8, 9 Rs. If we get there already, I took out some for 3 or 4 times my risk. So that's great. But targeting kind of in the low 40s, high 30s for the rest of it, which again will be 7 to 8 times my risk. And anytime I see an opportunity like that I think has a decent probability, I'm certainly going to take it. Someone's asking about coin. I can take a look, but you can't analyze coin too much yet. It's just straight down pretty much, right? Inside day, right? Coin, I would just watch. Yes, I would watch kind of this high and this low, right? And if we get above here, it may be interesting. If we get down there, it also may be interesting, but again, nothing really to see there. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about Bitcoin. To be honest, it's a very good technical one to play. If we bounce kind of back into this area and then fail again, I may reload short. Bitcoin can take 80, 90% corrections and kind of go from there easily. You may need to refresh, Brett. Maybe Yeah, because I'm seeing 1080p full HD. So if you guys are noticing chop, maybe refresh, maybe YouTube's having some issues or doing some maintenance or something, who knows. So let's quickly go through the indexes. Let's do it on a weekly basis, and then we'll go through the calls I made this week, and then we'll scan for the calls next week. And again, this is always going to be like collaborative type stuff. So certainly uh, ask questions, chat about stuff, right? Anybody who is bearish in this market's insane and has been, right? There's not, with a new closing high, there's not a single person who's bearish in this market and making money. And that kind of continues to be the trait. Now, yes, we've been up 4 weeks in a row in the market, so maybe it's time for some backing and filling. But really, I'm in the state that we've got this area right here, and anything above this area is bullish, right? A pullback, a bounce, a chop sideways, a continue, unless we're below this line right here, I'm bullish, just the way it is. So I'm going to keep looking at the markets that way. It's crazy, everything you see on Twitter about everyone's looking for the end of the world. I guess it's just maybe easier to be pessimist than optimist. Now, this is one thing I wanted to look at on oil, right? On energy as a whole. We've kind of hit a wall right here, and energy was one of those things that was propelling this market higher as technologies and high growth stocks and high beta stocks were selling. It was things like energy and retail and all of these things that were holding us up. But right now, what I'm noticing is that uh, energy is kind of barely hanging on in the same right. So, and I may switch my camera angle here. It's bothering me how washed out it is. But yeah, so I'm looking at this now and I'm saying, well, uh, it's if we roll over, I think that could be bad for not the market, but energy names as a whole. And if we hold here, then I think we've got another leg higher. So this, and the reason I've already drawn a lot of this out, the reason I think this area is so important is, we had the breakout that happened here. We had a pullback here, and you can see a bottoming tail on the weekly, and another pullback here and a bottoming tail on the weekly. We also have a high volume node kind of going on in this area. Anchored VWAP from the last pullback right here is there as well, and then the 80 MA. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in this area right here. So it's one of those that if that area holds, I think energy being, the boring kind of energy, the the non-fun names, um, that is going to, I know that moved. Just one second. I'm going to try. Oh, that camera angle. Ugh. Do you see how I'm sitting? Jesus, Michael. Sit up. That looks a little better to me anyway. So let's stick with that for now. We'll go okay. We'll move that around a bit. An old iPhone. It's funny. It's like an iPhone 8 or something. It's an old iPhone I just keep around in case I break mine. And the camera's way better than this too expensive webcam. So USO is probably going to be the same. It's probably going to have a similar look to XLE. To be honest there, yeah, it does have a lot of the same. Oh, no, but that, okay, so that had a bullish week. So USO had a pull net back here, and it seemed to held that pullback and look higher. So that one looks interesting. It's a lot of room to go, right? This is kind of the void that it could come fill, and that's a 20% ish pop from here. So no, I'd say USO actually looks way better than XLE, but you're gonna obviously have to watch XLE and see if that holds. If it continues to hold that this level and bounces higher, then you may want to go over to USO and choose that as your trade. If it if XLE drops, it's probably going to bring USO down with it. Financials continue to be a beast, and they're a really boring market to play. But, you know, they've gotten over this area here, right? And that goes back to 2017. If we go back on a monthly basis, even though we're not technically allowed to, because we're not at a monthly close, you can see that we had this resistance right here, here, and here. We've cleared that, and we're sailing above it. So there's really no reason to get out at all. XLI, right? Industrials, rocketing, XLK. Geez, even tech had a strong close. And this one, so real estate is interesting too. It's been very strong, but it's going to butt its head up very, very soon right here, which is kind of post or the pre-pandemic crash. So we've got that area of resistance right there. I'm going to watch on the real estate sector. Above that, it may be a breakout. Utilities had a really strong week. Not much in healthcare. And now we're back to Bitcoin. Okay, so that's our analysis of that. And again, here's another shot of the RSI divergence on Bitcoin, right? Higher highs going on here, lower highs on the RSI. Generally, again, it can be seen as a bit of an issue. Now, if we go back here, and we should really be looking at this when we're this far out logarithmically, right? Nothing saying that we can't come back and retest this breakout. We could pop down here and then bounce from there. It's kind of the reason I'm short, right? A little overextended from the breakout. So again, just more, everything looks bullish. Financials, energy is the only one that's interesting to me. So I've just made my notes there that energy more than anything is the one that's kind of interesting me there. Pop me back over here. Yeah, a lot of consumer. So Brett says a lot of consumer scans has been popping up on his scans. And I've noticed the same thing. Yeah, things like Foot Locker have been holding strong. Hell, and I even hate to say this, but I really even like the look of GameStop here. If we take it off log, we'll be able to see that what I'm looking at better. But, you know, it's getting tight. And it's one of those things that if it was going to die, you think it would have died here. Or you think it would have died in the beginning of the move. Yet we're seeing, if we connect these lows like this, and then all of the highs down like this, right, we're holding here. And that's crazy to me. Yeah, I saw his post. He bought another 50,000 shares of his own money. I just wouldn't be me, right? I would have taken my $20 million in gains or whatever it was and never been seen from again. So maybe I'm watching it. Again, I do own, I told you guys a long time ago, I bought some down here in the 40s and I was selling in chunks and I have a little bit left, but you know, basically just enough that I kind of put it away and put a break-even stop. And if it hit the break-even stop, it was still like a monster, like a year-making trade. But part of me is debating adding back in if we get some sort of a break out of that triangle. But all right, so let's take a look at what I did last week when I did those short videos, which the YouTube algorithm, I don't know if you guys are getting bored of them or the YouTube algorithm's just not favoring them the way they work, but they're dying off a bit. And if they die off enough, then I'll take that as a clue to start doing something else. But again, I know, Sam, you've been trying to help me there with emails, but I just don't get the algo. So the first one was DVAX. DVAX. And again, if you're just stumbling across this stream, I do these short videos on YouTube every day. in which I'll bring this up here for you guys to see. So I do these short minute-long videos. It's a YouTube thing that they're pumping out, and I do mostly 5 of them a week, and they're just stocks, and I talk about what's interesting to me in the stock and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going over to see how well did those work. So yeah, DVAX was the first one, and this is basically exactly what I was watching when I called DVAX, or when I talked about it. It was over this area. I got that. I am still in fully. The idea here, if we go and we look at on Trade Ideas, you can see a 25% short float. So this thing could really get rocking if it breaks this area. It also came up on some algos that maybe talked about to some people soon, and blah blah blah. But that was a good one. You could draw another trend line up here and say, well, I need it to close above this high, which is what I would watch, which is 1119. So call it 1120. A close above that would be interesting. INFN. Check the DVAX single stock window. You were just there. DVAX. Wake up. There it goes. Oh yeah, not 25, 21% short float. Yeah, I was typing in here by accident instead of here. So I'll go from there. But yeah, so 21% short float, which is a pretty massive short float. We earnings May 10th, so we've got time for that to go through. And then the other one was INFN, which, spoiler alert, I didn't do anything with. I didn't do anything with most of these, but I still like the concept of INFN. So one of the things, the main reasons, if this is the anchored VWAP, this blue line is the anchored VWAP from the highs. You can see it's kind of acting as support in through here. If you look at the gray bars, this is the volume shelf. It's holding that as well. What I would just want to see is some strength over this downtrend line. Come on, that. There we go. So I needed to, break up and kind of hold above this line. And ever since I put out that short, it's just done nothing. But it hasn't broken down, so we could put that as a win. Some people could look at this and say, well, here's a shoulder and here's a head, and maybe it's forming a shoulder here as well. And when it breaks out of that downtrend line, maybe it goes from there. Float, right? A short float is a 19%. So that's enough. That's enough to get her going for sure. But nothing on that yet, but I haven't taken it off any of my list. CASA. It kind of triggers me. One thing about TrendSpider is I'm used to just being able to type and hit a button and have it go, but they've got this kind of delay because it's doing this autocomplete. Oh, I remember you now. This friggin' thing. So yeah, this one did get me because I was looking for a break kind of above here, and it did that real early, but I got in and then I got out at the very same day. When it closed back under that area that I wanted to break, I wasn't having that. CRIS. Yeah, nothing with CRIS, but I'm still interested. Right, but I want to see a break and a hold on this one as well. And this may be a lot of what you guys are noticing as well. Maybe it's just me, but I've noticed a lot of this breakout smash back, which is why I'm being very aggressive with my stop. Like I showed you on CASA, I was in and out on the same day, even though it was a swing trade. And it was because CDEV was last but not least, because it was one of those things that it's just how the market is working right now, right? Take your money and go. CDEV, I was talking about it when it was this little inside day. I wanted to see this inside day resolve upwards, but it resolved downwards. So this one, I'm not even really watching anymore. If it got back above here, maybe. But, it was one of those things I wanted to see a breakout and then one day of consolidation and then continuation. And instead it broke down. So no, Sam, you're not stuck with anything. No trader is ever stuck with any stock ever. And that's right. Words are important. So you have to get that. There's never a trader who's ever in his life been stuck in a trade. You've got the ability to get out. If it doesn't meet your trading plan, you can get out from there. So this is another thing I like to look at each week that just shows basically what is strong and what is weak, right? Sam was saying doesn't understand it's in the bull market. Well, you got to look at what's actually moving. So XLK down here is the tech. It's what we've been playing a lot recently, and it was working well. It's not now, right? Even a lot of these things, if you look at what's up here, it's utilities are breaking out. And those are the most boring stocks on earth to trade is utilities and materials, right? And REITs. These are like consumer discretionaries can be fun to trade. Financials are usually fun to trade. But if you look at what's ranking on the top here, you got XLU, which again is utilities, which is just the worst. And that's how she goes, right? I was talking to JC from All Star Charts, and he was just, confirming what, again, they teach in the CMT, that the lifeblood of a bull market is rotation. So that's what we're seeing right now is we're basically seeing this is no longer strong, right? That it used to be. Communications are no longer strong. All of these things. However, right, real estate working well, things like that. Oh yeah, no, that's those lists and trade ideas how to do that are pretty cool as well. I still like Koifin. Um, I like the visual representation. I gotta just move that. Oh, mess. Um, where did my chat go? Chat. There it is. Yeah, so again, it's the same thing, and in these bull markets, we're just going to see more and more rotation. So it's going to always be that way. Now, what we rotate into next is going to have a lot to do with boring stuff like interest rates. For example, interest rates as they move higher, generally speaking, you'll get a rotation out of growth names and into value names. Value names just meaning, the things that were talked about above there, where Foot Locker and CL, right, Colgate, Palmolive, things like this that are boring are the things that are really going to be kind of lifting the market going forward. And then as rates collapse, and you can look at this by just looking at the TLT, right? Because the bond price is going to be inversely related to rates. You can go through and you can take a look at that. You can say, well, if we get a bounce in this, then that means rates are moving lower. If this is going to continue lower, it will mean rates are moving higher. And the way I look at this anyway is we've had this, down move and then this sideways consolidation. So I think we're going to break down lower, which means rates are going to go higher, which means those really high float names, your Teslas and your Amazons and your Netflixes and things like that, are going to get even worse as time goes by. And again, it just means, so for me, I'm doing a lot shorter term trading in which I'm taking the same trades. But like I showed you with CASA, if it doesn't work, if I'm not in profit that day, I'm most likely out. And it's just when the market's not cooperating with you, which for me it's not, I just get really, really, really tight and then hope for one or two big ones to help carry me through until the market switches again to something that makes a little bit more sense for me. Hope that makes sense. And I missed a question of, do I actually trade? I missed a few. Have I actually traded any of these ETFs? No. What I do is I use the ETFs. It's like looking at the forest instead of the trees, right? I zoom out and I say, what is the market as a whole doing? Where are things moving? Where are things coming from? Where are things going to? Like, what's the overall picture of the market? And that will just tell me more or less where to focus my energies, but also how clean everything will be. In a market where high growth names and high beta names and things like this are rocketing, it's easier for someone like me and us to trade because you're going to be able to buy a stock, the thing's going to move your way and you'll cover out. In messier markets like we're seeing right now, that gets a little bit harder, where you have to be a little bit more nuanced about your entry and you've got to be able to grab those profits if and when you see them. And then the other one, another question is, what am I using to short Bitcoin? I trade through Kraken, which is just an exchange like any other. They allow you to short on margin. Basically, I have a margin account. I have a corporate account with them. So I'm able to, through the corporation, trade. And I think you can do it with normal non-corporate accounts as well. You're just able to short the same way you are on any other exchange. But there's all kinds of ways to short Bitcoin. I know Kraken's not the only one. I have business dealings that I don't talk too much about in the crypto space, and I use them for that. So that's one of the main things that I look for. So now we're going to scan for what's going on for next week. This is always a great time to ask questions too, because this is usually pretty boring. But the goal here is to find that one stock that I'm going to make the short about, and then I end the stream and go build that short. And if you guys want to see more of me today, this is now, full disclosure, this webinar that I'm going to send you for the TrendSpider, I'm going to pop it in here a few times. It's kind of more of a salesy thing. We're going to talk about how to use the products together, what each product does. You're kind of seeing that now, where I'm using TrendSpider for my technical analysis and for alerting and things like that, because it will send alerts via text and via email, which is something that I like that Trade Ideas hasn't quite gotten to yet. At the same time, I'm not a huge fan of TrendSpider's scanning. Trade Ideas does a way better job of that. And then Trade Ideas is also where I do my back testing, my order entry, that type of thing. So we can do that. From the email with TrendSpider, all webinar attendees will sin. Is that they put a typo in that when they sent that out? That's great. Sam, share the scan if you want to take a look at it. I think I've already been kind of cheating, and I've been looking at CVM here, and it does look very interesting to me. this may be the one already that I'm talking about. So basically what I'm looking at on CVM is, we've had this area here and here. When we broke out of that area, we went from $25 to 40, and then we've pulled back and we've been kind of holding under it. If we break back out of it, we may not, do anything crazy like this, but even if we get up into the 20s, that's a pretty good one. Is the presentation going to be the same one you did with them last time? Yeah, mostly. It'll mostly be the same. No, Sam, I can't see any link there. I wonder if YouTube's blocking it. Twitter? Ooh, grab that, pull that down. Maybe tweet it at me. Can't share links in chat. Yeah, YouTube must be blocking it to make sure people aren't spamming. So, see if you can pop it to me on Twitter or email it. Do you have my michael.nos email instead of Stats Edge? To be honest, I don't check that as much as I should until the product is done, which I think I have the concept for, but I just got to get off my ass and actually do it. Let me open up my email. Hold on one second, guys. I'm actually going to do this for just a second while I open up my email for obvious reasons. And then we'll go back to this one. Email sent. Okay. I'll wait for that to come in. So in the meantime, we'll just scan. I'm doing all this on a virtual machine that I thought would be faster than my AWS cloud. However, it's not it's not at all. Oh, I see your email there, Sam. So let's take a look at this while we just click through. All right. So let's take a look at the scan here. So that's, first of all, one of the first things I look for is how many filters and alerts in the scan, right? If you've got absolutely tons of these, that's not the move, right? You get, the more you add, the kind of worse it is. However, that's a pretty good number right there. You're not overwhelming it. So that's not too bad. Quite often you can, again, it's one of those things that it's kind of curve fitting. The more you have to do to it, the more you're curve fitting. So you got the EPS trick to exclude ETFs. So that's good. 5-minute RSI. Those are some weird numbers, right? I like to generally see round numbers because, between 66 and 78 is kind of weird, where it should work the same if it's, between 50 and 75 or 50 and 100 or things like that. 5-day range, no more than 91%. That's an interesting. Yeah, I know it's based on the back test, but the problem is if you take the output of a back test and you just fill in the numbers it tells you to, that's kind of the definition of curve fitting, right? You're fitting the data to the results as opposed to something that makes sense as a trader. And the more curve fitted a scan, the quicker it will degrade, right? So again, not saying that any of these are necessarily bad, just things that I look for right away. Like this kind of stuff makes more sense to me, right? You want it to have at least 25% of normal options volume. 80, you want it in the high end of 20-day range. That's fine, right? A little bit more than normal volume, but it doesn't necessarily have to be too much. And then 14 minutes after the open is kind of specific as well. And then let's run the back test. Oh, I got another email. You want me to take a look at this scan too? Man, I just got like 75 out of office requests. Oh, probably from the email. So, first thing, that's not enough data, right? 47 trades is not enough. So it's one of those things that it's, the way I counter that is I always say flip a coin three times and tell me the probability you'll hit heads, right? There is no mathematical way that you come up with an accurate result, right? It just can't. Brett, I looked at that. Can you send me the cloud link for that instead, where you right click and go file, save as cloud? What you send me is the collaboration link. It won't bring over everything. The collaboration link is a bit dated. Smart Stop's okay. I don't like that it's capped at 25 cents or 75 cents, but you're definitely targeting way more than you're risking, so that's encouraging. Test days 15 days. Let's go back and actually look at that for a period of time, that just to see how it holds back. While that runs. But yeah, it's just 47 trades is just not an interesting amount of trades. I don't really fully get the premise of the scan. So it's looking to make, because it's looking at stocks that are making new highs, but I just not seeing what it is that you're trying to master, if that makes any sense. Your risk reward's phenomenal. Your percentage win rate is not too much. But I don't care about win percentage. I'm all about this. So over the long run, it still looks fine. And that's enough trades that I think you're getting a more accurate representation when you run it 64 days back, as opposed to running it just 13 days back. So it's profitable, right? But it's mostly profitable because of your risk reward. Getting close to the highs. So again, and this I like to look at more than the equity curve, because this is going to kind of tell you a little bit clear what's going to happen. So you're going to have to be okay with this strategy having, a month-ish here where you got hammered, and then about a month here where you got hammered. But what you're looking for is an even distribution of trades, which you're kind of getting, right? More trades in through here, which is an earnings season, so you may want to look at less trades through here, which is not an earnings season, which again kind of makes sense. And that you're looking for obviously more green days than red days, and your green days being higher than your red days. So this is all good. I would look at what's going on here with your win rate, because although basically everything is going to get worse from back test to the real world. So the question is, in what respect? So I would make sure that this one, I would try to see what's going on here, why the win rate is so low, and see if that's something that you can easily adjust. And take a look at that. However, it's not, doesn't look bad. It's not the worst scan I've ever seen. Anything in the 1.4-ish, 1.5 profit factor is good for me. I would start testing it. I would see if you could find like a glaring issue. And I wouldn't even look at the scan to do that, but throw it into the simulator and see. Most traders lose money. So, a 1.4 profit factor is going to be better than most traders. Let's take a look at, load up this. Oh, that's the same one. Let's try that again. Copy link. Load from cloud. Oh, there's another one. You guys got all these badass names for your scan. Actually, and this is another thing that I'm going to do to Sam's before we move on. I like to go and just click on a couple of the scans and see what it is it's actually looking for. Okay, TrendSpider, you're killing me a bit here. Oh, well, that chart looks nice to me, right? Big, strong push out, a little pullback, consolidation. Are you planning on running this full auto or as a scan that you... and that chart doesn't look bad to me either. That was it from yesterday. So I would take a look at it. In a full auto, I wouldn't run it. But if it's a semi-discretionary thing, which is what Brett's saying he's looking at there, that might be something to take a look at. So you're looking at a 14-day high or a 14-day resistance that you want it to break through. You want it... Again, these things always kind of like... That's a bit weird. $540, but not $550 or $541. But again, so you want it gapping up a little bit, or at least not down too much. Like not on. You don't want it gapping under yesterday's low. You want it up 3 days in a row. You want it up 3 days in a row and then breaking resistance. Okay, well, that's when it's each their own. Oh yeah, so that one looked good. For me, and again, this is just me. Yeah, if you're buying something on the third day it's up in a row, again, personal preference only. To me, that's a bit overextended, and I don't think I would be super interested in that. Oh, you're killing me, TrendSpider. I gotta close you for now. Let's do this. Get. Oh, this friggin' thing. Close some of this down, and we'll just use a Trade Ideas chart. It's not TrendSpider. It's this virtual machine I'm running. I just wish Trade Ideas would get a friggin' Mac version and be done with it. I hate Windows. Ooh, V-Ray looks interesting. I'm gonna slap an RSI here and see. Nothing to glean from that. But V-Ray is looking interesting with this tightening going on here. Break of that, could see 6. It's not really that much, is it? Maybe 2. Yeah, Brett, maybe. Again, that's just personal preference. Like Barry, for example, every trade I see Barry make, to me, looks like it's chasing. Now, it's obviously not. He's a good trader and he does well trading and he's been trading for many years. So it's for him, it's not chasing, but for me, it's chasing. Like it certainly looks like it's chasing. And again, it's personal preference 100%. The thing about buying something as it's moving higher, you're going to like you're sure momentum's on your side. So there's going to be a big benefit of making sure that momentum's on your side. Um, Again, the way I look at it is how often do you see more than 4 or 5 days sequentially in a row higher without any kind of a pullback? Well, let's look at Hope, which is strong as hell right now. What you've got 4 days here, you've got 4 days here, you got 3 days here. The rest of this, you don't have very much. So again, the way I look at it is that if you're going to buy on the third day or after the third day up, right, it's going to be here and here, as opposed to even waiting for maybe a pullback or a consolidation and then continuation. CL is a good example of what you're. Yeah, I see that, right? You've got a bit of, right, $80 seems to be the level. When it broke that, it was going higher. And again, I cannot stress enough, personal opinion, but for me, I kind of want to snag it. So CL, right, rounded top, I want to snag it as it breaks so that my stop is smaller. Now, what I'm trading for that, because there's a trade-off with every strategy, right? What I'm trading for chasing the breakdown as opposed to doing something like you, where you want to see it moving a couple days in your direction, is that I'm going to get stopped out way more often than you are. But my stops are going to be smaller because I'm able to put them at a tighter area, right? So if I shorted CL here, right, my stop would go right above this candle and I would have been stopped out if it bounced instantly, which is going to happen more often than, say, I waited until it had pulled away from that support a bit. However, right, if you kind of shorted it in this area and your stop has to go up here, your stop is way wider. So it's everything in trading is finding a balancing act between probability of profit and risk reward, right? So the more you need confirmation on anything to occur, which is what I would look at something that's up a bunch of days in a row, is you're waiting for confirmation. I would bet that you're going to have a higher win rate, but then a lower risk reward, and vice versa, right? Yeah, I know you're not shorting, but I just was using that as an example. Now, if you're looking to chase the breakout, you're going to get a much higher risk reward, but then a lower win rate. This one looks good. These are all of these kind of, BS, know nothing financials are starting to look really good. Like this one would be that kind of short video trade, but just not very volatile. Maybe 4-hour candles, but again, I don't want to discourage you from what you're doing if it's working. It's just, for me personally, I would go insane with that wide of a stop, because for me, the way I look at it is if I take 3 trades and I get stopped out on 2, and then I take another trade and I make money off that one. Well, the speed at which I'm wrong, and I know I'm wrong and I get out, is way faster than if I take a trade with a really wide stop or a wider stop because it's already moved, and then we go from there. And for me in my own trading, I'm all about our multiple compounding, in which, right, you start with a small account and you continue to grow that account kind of slowly over time by, right, taking a trade, putting the money that you made from that trade, hopefully, and then going into the next trade, and then doing that over and over and over again grows the account. Even though I'm less right often, grows the account more. Oh, I don't know, it just broke for a second there. I'm back. See, I'm not seeing a hell of a lot So I think it is going to be CVM for sure. This one's it's a bit wild for it, 100% it's a bit wild. However, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means you got to be careful with it. And again, the concept of CVM, because the only thing I could find that I was very interested in is that this area right here. So call it, what is that? Call it $18, right? What, 1780? Yeah, call it $18. All right, we draw a line at 18-ish bucks. You can see resistance, support, right? And when it broke that resistance, this is the crazy move it made. So if we're going to start perking up again and we can kind of break over and hold over 18, I think this one's got a massive potential considering this 25% short float. Another thing I was looking at this, and again, I'm always playing with different indicators, although I don't really believe in them. I believe price action trumps all. I have been playing with Bollinger Bands as kind of a looking at the distance between the two bands as looking for things that are squeezing. And you can see that this one is squeezing pretty tight right now. So Sam asked, do I ever look at the news or what they do? No, I don't. I don't look at the news. I do look at what they do. So I take a look here and I say biological product manufacturing. So I know the industry they're in. I know roughly, like I'll click on the profile tab and I'll say, okay, well, they do bio-human technology for research and development. So I want to know kind of what sector they're in, but I never spend any time in the news at all. I don't think, by the time there are NLP programs, neuro-linguistic programming, which is a way to teach a robot how to read human language and come up with a decision. Those exist, and they are able to read and disseminate news and take trades perfectly. And another reason I don't read news is one of the worst trades of my life. I was day trading at the prop firm. I can't, I wish I could remember the company, but anyway, the CFO was being indicted for fraud. So I punch up the stock and I short the ever living shit out of this company, because this was back before NLP robots and stuff like this, right? You could actually trade these things. That stock rocketed and continued to rocket for the entire day, costing me buttloads of money. And to this day, I spent time reading the news and trying to figure out why it rocketed and blah, blah, blah. Moral of the story is no one cared, right? No one cared that this guy got indicted. There was some other news released or whatever, but no one knows, right? It's one of those things you'll read the stock market up today on, and the second you hear anyone say that, you should just turn off, because they don't know why it was up. They don't know why it was down. News is just, I have met great technical traders. I've met great order flow traders. I've even met great fundamental traders who do well with, figuring out future earnings and these type of fundamental things that I don't really touch. I have never met a trader in my life that does very well trading off of news, like ever. Not since the computers killed that market, right? Plus, and then you've got to say, okay, how does this news matter based what was priced into the stock? So you need to figure out what was priced into the stock first, and then most companies won't release news during the trading day. They'll do it before or after the market close, where you can't. It doesn't matter anyway, So again, for you guys, the ticker will be CVM. The synopsis of what I think of the market is it's still looking higher. Let's take a quick look at OXY, and then I'm gonna So are you looking for this on a pullback Or are you looking for this for a short? Because this area is interesting here and here. So it's got some support here. So if you're looking for a short, I would agree, wait for it to break this area. If you're looking for it as a pullback to a bounce play, I would just make sure you kind of clear this intermediate resistances to make sure strength's on your side. Yeah, Sam, like Baba last week, right? In all respects, Baba should have gotten hammered, but who cares? Short under 24. Yeah, I'm not good at swing trading short, so I'll let you know. But you've got earnings all the way till the 10th, so you got till the 10th to figure it out. I don't see a bounce. Again, anything could happen, right? Keep in mind, right, the petroleum. We went over how energy is the strongest that there is, right? So note that you're shorting a strong sector. Fizz does look interesting. I actually saw this one, the topping tail on Friday. It shied me away from it. But if you just draw out this downtrend line right here, you can see that a break and a hold above that line could definitely get us going. So I'm going to add Fizz. I already have it on my list there. Let me create a price alert for it there. So yeah, this one could squeeze for sure with a 25% short flow. We don't have an earnings date. I would check where that is, but yeah, what I would look to see, just because it had that topping tail, is just a break of that topping tail. I think your trade here is pretty obvious. If you're looking to buy this one, you want to see a break and a clear of that topping tail. You're wrong if you get kind of back into this base. If it pulls back and gets back in there, you draw out. No, I don't want dictation. Get out of here. You've got a bit of an area here that's been resistance here, and it's been some support through here. So what I would do is, if you're going to buy it, the way I would trade it would be in over this area, wrong under here, and that's a pretty simple trade. So, all right, guys. I will get to building the Stats Edge product. I've got it. I think I understand what I want to offer, which I've chatted about with you guys a few times. I just need to be able to sit down and do it. I need to figure out how to charge everyone in a way that I can give refunds for people that aren't happy with the product and things like this. So we'll figure it out. But again, just to summarize, what we're going to be doing is, before I take off here, I screwed that up. Where did that go? Jeez. I love these virtual desktop things until I lose them. Let me just do this. Because I've got just one giant monitor, and then you can see how I can switch between desktops like that. So yeah, this is what I'm looking at for the product. I'm going to delete these because those were just notes to myself. So Discord group, place you guys can come and chat, share ideas all the time. My worry about that is moderation, so I need to figure that out. My scans, it will basically just be an open document or a Notion template or something like this, where you can see all of the scans I'm using, and that will be updated in real time. If I build a scan and it's something that I like, it's something I want to use, I'll just update it in there. So anytime you guys go in, it will just have all of my cloud links and my custom formulas, that kind of stuff. Maybe Telegram. I'm just using, ubiquitous chat group. Might even be Slack or something for all I know. Monthly webinars. So I'm thinking 2 hours a month with you guys, purely question and answer. I'll look at any scans you want to look at. I'll go through any charts you want to go after. I'll bring on, because it will be a small group. Again, I'm going to cap it at 100 people to start with. You guys can come on the mic. We can chat about whatever you want to chat about. So a full 2 hours of that. Access to my trading journal, where I'll document all of my trades, why I took them, my rationale behind them, so you guys can learn that. and then a private Twitter. Again, none of this will be, and this is just what I want to make it super clear. I'm not, and I don't think I ever will, do an alert service that says buy this stock for this reason. Regulatory nightmare. There's times where I suck, which is right now. So everything I want to do wants to be education and community driven. So the private Twitter will be like, hey, I'm looking at this stock for this reason. It won't say buy it here, stop here, blah, 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 but it will say, hey, I like CV, like what I did with CVM, right? It will say, hey, guys, I'm watching CVM for this reason, and have all that kind of written out. And then that will be, so I'm thinking $49.99 US a month, capped at 100 people. And then we'll figure that out. For now, I have people asking if they can be added to some sort of wait list. But what I'm going to do is on my website, which I should put in here, you can go down to any one of the pages, pop your email in there. And again, anyone who's in here on my email list will attest, no spam. I email you when there's a new blog post, and I email you when I'm planning on going live, and that's it. But that email list, I will send out, hey, I've launched the product. This is how you get involved. This is what you're going to get, blah, blah, blah. That will go to this email list before I tweet about it or anything. And everybody on that list will be given the opportunity to get in, kind of thing, right? So that's going to be the way I'm going to make sure that people that very much want it can get in first. And then the idea is to cap it at 100, keep it at 100 until I've got it worked out that everybody in the group is satisfied with what they're paying for. Then maybe expand it out, probably at a higher price going forward. But I would never raise the price for the early adopters, right? They're going to be, in there as kind of as long as they exist. So thank you, Brett, for reminding me. I hate doing this stuff, but YouTube says the reason that your shit isn't shared enough is that not enough people hit the like button. So right, hit the like button on the way out. I'm going to make this YouTube short video, which will be out probably in an hour or two from now. So it's great chatting with you guys. And I will see you at the earliest next week. I've got some time this week, so I may pop on and stream some throughout it. I'm actually partnering with a prop firm, and I'm going to do some day trading there. So maybe I'll live stream some day trading as well. And I'm opening up a crypto account small. Maybe I will, do some crypto trading live with you guys too. If that's stuff you're interested in, let me know. And I will talk to you guys later.